Hey peeps, it's Mella Ubedoble and
Shaq.
and welcome. So, today's topic is titled Zoology. And basically, Shaq is going to outline the entire course for us. But before we get to that, please use this opportunity to subscribe to my channel. Do not forget to turn on those notifications and hit the like button for this video. Okay peeps, so without any further ado, let us allow Shaq to do his magic.
Yeah, so zoology forms part of the Department of Zoology and Entomology in the Faculty of Natural and Agricultural Sciences. The degree I did was obviously a BSc in Zoology and Botany, but if your degree is, about zoology, or if your major is in zoology, you don't only have one major. So you have two majors. Like I said, I graduated with zoology and botany, but there are a whole array of other modules that you can choose from. Like I said, the department is zoology and entomology, but you also, why are you laughing?
Killing me, man.
Yo.
You know I'm laughing?
Why?
Because you
Kind
you
of
used an
went in a circle.
Afrikaans word. It was just funny.
What is
Oh,
What? What did I
you
say?
said a whole array.
No, I said array. Means like different things.
Sorry, it sounded like Afrikaans.
Yeah.
A whole array.
No, man, it's not so. No,
You
I'm-
can just continue. I'm sorry.
Really?
So,
Okay, so yeah, you have a whole array of modules to choose from. It doesn't really confine you to only those two majors, because you also have an elective. So my elective was genetics, and it kind of sucked for me. I didn't really enjoy it.
really?
Yeah, no, genetics is interesting, definitely. There's a lot that you can learn from it and, apply. And I think, the most important thing is that you can apply what you learn in your daily life. Not to say that genetics didn't do that for me. I guess I just didn't gravitate too well towards the genetic side of natural science. Yeah. So,
Is there at least something about genetics that you enjoyed?
yeah, I just like the fact that it forms a parallel with botany and zoology. So as it is in nature, is in science.
Yeah.
So genetics is basically just it's the quantum physics of physics. Where some people study gravity and shit like that.
I have a question about botany. I have a question.
Sure.
So we're currently doing it in my course as well, in art history, and I think we're just doing a broad version of it, where we are introduced to the fact that they look at specimens and atlases and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So do you guys go deeper into that, and how exactly does that go about?
Okay, so I guess then, I might as well start from explaining how things work from your first year.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
I'm not gonna mention any specific modules. Maybe I'll mention a lecture here and there, but when you start out in your first year, okay, I'm doing my honors right now in zoology, just to make that clear. But when you start out, you basically do high school biology,
Okay.
but it's more directed in the direction, or it points more to, it's more refined or confined to the overarching module, like genetics. You get only genetics and not a lot about nature and whatnot. But so you start out with things like biology. I think that's the one that a lot of people will be the most familiar with.
Yeah.
And in biology, you do just learn about animals, really, to be honest, but you go from the understanding of cellular structures, the different levels of organismal organization, like what an organism is. So it starts out with a cell and, a collection of cells, that's a tissue and organs and, an animal, an individual, I guess, population and so forth. And then from there, you learn a few human processes, some a bit about genetics, biochemistry, microbiology. So it's basically everything thrown in one, and they just call it biology. But it's very focused. Like each field is actually termed as such. So each unit that you do, let's say biochemistry, has a lot to do with biochemistry, or it's just that. And then you have your botany and you have your zoology. So in zoology also, in first year, you learn about the phylogenetic tree. So that's like the tree of life, basically, just to put it in common terms. And it shows you kind of how organisms are ordered in terms of, evolution, how things evolved in humans or in nature, I guess, in all living things. That's excluding plants, because botany has its own type of phylogenetic analysis, or morphological history and whatever evolutionary history that they cover. I feel like it's really easy in first year, but
It looks to me like you guys also cover like a lot of the historical aspects of biology, in a sense, in the first year.
yeah, you learn about the theories or the history of how the theories of evolution, how people thought of change in nature. You learn about how their thoughts changed over time, and who the first one was who thought it, what differs between each person who came up with a new idea for how everything that is alive evolved. So yeah, that's also an interesting part about it. It is something that you can incorporate in your daily understanding about things as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's just first year. It's an introduction to biology in all its facets. Physiology is even in the anatomy. So from first year, you can even direct yourself towards getting into medicine, which is what a lot of people do. But most of the time they stay in biology because there's always something left to do there. So second year is where you actually start to make decisions about where you want to go in the field of natural and agricultural sciences in the faculty. And this is kind of where you move more into your department. So first off, you get to choose your majors. Mine was zoology and botany, and then an elective, which is your third core module. I don't know if that's what you can call it, because each of them have a set number of modules also for the year. I think it's about 4 modules per major and 4 per elective. So yeah, you choose that, and it kind of becomes your primary focus until you get your degree. You can still change, but this is where prerequisites become important. So for some of your second year modules, you won't be able to continue with second semester if you fail first semester modules, and you won't be able to change over into another major if it wasn't your elective.
So it's like year subjects or year modules.
Not necessarily. I think it's it's 2 first semester modules and 2 second semester modules.
Okay.
Yeah, no, this is for each elective, so you have like 12 modules per year.
Oh, but it really sucks that you cannot really continue with the second semester ones if you fail the first semester.
Yeah, because in a way because they are prerequisites. Actually, like you need the knowledge from there and the understanding from there in order to continue with the second semester. It's the same as failing the 1 year and not being able to continue with the next year, because you definitely need that kind of knowledge. So you might as well say that, you know, you have semesters that you need to focus on hard and not just the year, because you don't really have year modules in my department or faculty even. I'm not sure how it is, you know, they're in chemistry and physics and other really complicated smart people. So your second year, it becomes both more fun and a bit more tricky. I'm not sure if there are any excursions, but you do very interactive practicals. This is where your practicals become real, like dissections. If you are into plant morphology, you actually identify plants based on their taxonomic traits. And in genetics, which is the building behind us, you do proper genetic experiments like DNA extraction.
I'm just looking for people,
Yeah,
you know, so
yeah.
that they can. Yeah, I'm doing it on their behalf.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what was I saying? Oh, in genetics, yeah, this building. You do PCRs, DNA extraction from like fruits. I'm not sure if you do it from meat or whatever. I think that would be a bit awkward.
Can you tell me, what kind of tools do you guys use? Equipment?
We actually use proper equipment. Our varsity is really up to standard when it comes to scientific instrumentation and equipment and even chemicals and things. So we do use proper PCR machines and, you know, pipettes, and, you know, you feel like a scientist when you're in there with your lab coat and things. In the genetics faculty, I think that genetics people will be able to tell you more about that. In my faculty, well, what I'm doing for my year project in honors right now is stable isotope research, but on 3 cores you can actually do stable isotope analysis on anything. If you want to know what you ate for the past few years, when last did you cut your hair?
The Saturday?
Okay, if you want to know what you ate, well, since the last time you cut your hair and Saturday when you cut your hair, you can just take a strand of your hair and, you know, sequence it. There's like a set pattern in which your hair grows, and then you just sequence that to stable isotope analysis, and it will show you how your diet fluctuated over time. So you can do a lot of different things with that. And yeah, although we don't have the stable isotope analysis machines, the IMSs and AMRs for AMS, atomic mass spectrometers, we do have connections with other varsities. We do communicate with other varsities, and they always help us out. But other than that, our equipment is proper. Like, we have samples in vials, and we use our dissection kits. You have to sterilize whatever you use and whatnot. We have our weighing machines. We have proper coolers. We have growth chambers in the biology, in the botany building. So that's what you use if you want to grow like a plant in a perfectly controlled environment. We did a few experiments with that also, which was cool.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So it's really fun from second year. It really does get fun. First year, it's a lot of revision. A lot of people might already know what all of those things are about. But second year is where you start to learn the specifics, like the proper structures, the proper grammar to use, the proper words. You learn referencing. You learn all of the tools you'll need to become a qualified person in your field. So yeah, that's it for second year. Oh, what I forgot to mention about second year also is that this is where you start to use microscopes properly. I know you get some experience with it in first year, but you don't understand it that well, and so whatever experience you have with it is too short. Because this year students only had about 4 practicals, in which only 2 of them they used microscopes. But yeah, it's all cool and whatnot, because you do start using them a lot in second year, especially when you're doing dissections and whatnot. I think from first year you actually start doing dissections, but that's like on insects, so it's not that deep. Second year you do vertebrates, fishes and frogs. I'm not sure if they're gonna do that now, regarding how everything's changed because of COVID.
Do you guys look at the vertebrates, like the skeleton, like the X-rays of them in a sense, or
So your microscope allows you to see down to the cellular level. Yeah.
okay.
And some animals, obviously an insect, you won't be able to see its stomach with your naked eye, so you sometimes need to use your microscope to look at specific structures and just magnify them for yourself if you want to redraw them. Or what I was gonna mention is that the technology has gone so far that you don't even need to sit at your microscope while doing it. You can just place your sample under the microscope, and what we have in the labs now is that the microscopes are coupled with iPads, and it's connected to the internet, so you can literally put down your sample, look at the screen on your iPad, and do whatever it is that you need to do. You can measure what it is you're looking at, like a cell, and it will give you that measurement in its actual size. You can take a photo of what you are looking at, and it will have a scale bar there, so you know exactly what the size of the thing you are looking at is in reality. So that's something cool that happened kind of after I had already started using microscopes. This is something that we had from school. The ones at school were obviously very basic, but it was cool to see technology develop while I was here, even, or while I am here even. So now using those iPads and having all the school technology and fancy microscopes to work with has been fun.
And very convenient too.
Very convenient.
Very
Back in the
convenient.
day, you used to have to use your phone, place it over the microscope, the eyepiece, to take a photo of your sample.
Oh my word.
Or you had to literally draw it. I'm fine with drawing it. I enjoy that actually.
Yeah,
It's one of
because
the
you're
main
also
reasons.
artistic, which they don't know, but they do now, since I've mentioned it.
Yeah,
So-
somewhat.
So art is kind of,
Somewhat.
yeah, it's kind of helping you now.
Yeah, definitely is, and it's very integrated into what I'm studying. If you look at all
Yeah.
the illustrations and
Yeah,
textbooks and things,
definitely.
it's done by proper artists, people who dedicate their lives to just drawing things in nature, and they really are good. So you don't just have to be a game ranger if you want to study zoology. No, like I'm already doing illustrations for people in my faculty. So it's a kind of a side hustle. It's cool like that.
That's nice. Bonus tip for you guys over there.
Yeah, always have a side hustle. Third year is when things get really real. This is when you start churning out assignments, writing class tests almost every class that you have, because you kind of only have like one class a week. I'm not sure how it works for everyone else, but that's how it was for me. But the workload is really heavy, and in some modules you have to do extra reading, reading journal papers, book chapters and things like that. But it's all worth it, because it's interesting to find out how you receive information and process it, and what it means for you, particularly for me. Because when I went into zoology, I was really interested in morphology, in evolution, which is more commonly known as paleontology. So, looking at bones and stuff.
Yeah, fossils.
Fossils, yes, digging up fossils to see
Nice.
how they've changed over time. But yeah, it still interests me, but I think I found myself more in ecology, which is how everything in nature works together. make nature what it is. And because we have a very anthropocentric view about nature, what's important about that is what that means for us then, because it's very focused on how nature works for or benefits us, and not just how we are part of it and whatnot. That's also what is becoming the mainstream consciousness now, is that nature doesn't work for us. Nature is not placed here for us. I don't want to step on people's toes, with religion and things, but Earth does not need humans. We need Earth, so we need to do the right thing, all the necessary things, so that this planet doesn't kick us off, because there is no way that we can destroy this planet. I don't know, I've done tons of research on it. There's no real way that we can destroy the planet to the point of there being nothing alive on it, because we'd have to die first. We are so dependent on everything else that if the grass goes away, we are dead. That's how basic it is. If bees go away, we are dead. If ants disappear, we are dead. So it's crazy. Yeah, it got a bit dark there, but
Wow.
that's just what it excited me a
That's
lot.
why people are always encouraging others to take care of the land. That's why.
Yeah, guys, pollution is a serious thing. We think that dropping a plastic somewhere won't do anything, but if you think of how many people there are in South Africa, on this campus alone even, if we all just drop a paper into Loch Logan, a paper the size of a sweet wrapper, we just drop that, each of us, into Loch Logan, it would look not much worse than it is now, but horrible. It would look disgusting because it already looks bad.
Especially since we're so many people.
Yeah, so it's not just about no, the other person isn't doing it, so I feel like I don't need to. It's
That mentality.
yeah, it's more about it's really just doing your part. If you do your part, I'm not saying you don't have to use plastics anymore. Human society has gotten to the point where everything is plastic based. So just be wise about how
Just like
you
my
use
roller
your
skates
plastic.
wheels.
Exactly. Everything is plastic. Like your shoes are plastic, guys. I don't care if it's real or not. Yeah, but I'm sorry, I'm just a very abrupt person. I don't know what the word is.
I think we feel the energy
Yeah.
without having to explain it. I don't know, but I get you.
Yeah, I'm just very straightforward like that. But yeah, we just need to make the conscious decision of trying to maintain, a level of biodiversity or diversity in the nature that surrounds us. We need to try to live as much as possible in such a way that nature can work for us as much, or that nature can work for us. But we have to, contribute such an amount that we work for nature also. But yeah, moving on to the topic at hand actually. Third year is where things, all these thoughts came into my mind, where I developed as a person and started to realize that there's more to academics than just marks and finishing things, submitting things. But this is where I came to realize what my course means for me, what it means to me in my life. And I did face a lot of challenges. I was not a star student. But yeah, I made it through and I'm in my honors now, which is also going awesome. Learning a lot of new things. I met a lot of new people. It started actually from third year, where you start meeting cool people, because in third year you also go on excursions. Really, really amazing excursions. I've been to awesome places beautiful places in South Africa.
And how often does this happen? Let's say per semester.
At max you could have 4 excursions, 4 to 6 even. Some people have 6, yeah. So you go where 3 times in first semester and 3 times in second semester. So places I've been to for botany, I went to Amanzi, it's just outside Bloem, but it's a really nice lodge. You know, it has a nice hiking trail. It's a beautiful place to chill with a lot of people because we stayed in dormitories, but it was awesome staying with the people in my class. Went to Hogsback in the Eastern Cape. It's one of the most beautiful forests in South Africa, you know, even though it's kind of disappearing now. So yeah, you should check that out if you are able to. Hogsback was awesome because, wow, I don't know how to describe it. You know, everyone just has the same thing to say about it. It's just there's not much you can say about it. It's just leaves you speechless. You know, it's like a proper dense forest in the Eastern Cape where, you know, it's always humid and it's just a nice vibe to be in. It's in the mountains.
I'm actually visualizing it now.
Yeah, no, I just got a bit lost there.
Wow.
And then for zoology, we went to Sudorang Nature Reserve.
Oh, nice.
That's also just outside Bloem.
Aren't one of the reses on campus inspired by that name?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a tree,
Yeah.
Sudorang,
Yeah.
sweet thorn tree. But yeah, you get to see a lot of awesome places, meet a lot of amazing people, do a lot of amazing things. You know, we climb mountains, and I think my favorite excursion was the zoology for wetland ecology with Doc Candace and Sir van Rensburg. That was in Clarence. That
Okay.
place is gorgeous. That's the highlands. It's like on the border. It's close to Lesotho. But if you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. You know, you have bald mountains that are, you know, just painted with erosion from the rocks that have washed down there over the years, and it's just nice to see the mountains in all these different colors, you know, topped off with plants and grass down at the bottom, at the foot of the hills. And then not far from where we were in Clarence was Sterkfontein Dam. Sterkfontein Dam isn't far outside of Clarence actually, so the drive there also was amazing because, you know, you go through valleys and over hills and things, and then you just see this massive dam. Looks a bit like an ocean that's standing completely still. So it was beautiful. You see a lot of beautiful things. That's third year.
Wow.
You're also
This is it just keeps getting even more and more interesting the deeper you go into this
yeah,
course.
yeah. It gets so interesting that it just becomes more and more difficult to describe even, you know, what you do, even though it's difficult to do all the research and all that writing and to understand and interpret and explain to people what your research means. It's nice when you do it because it feels like you've actually done something, because you are, if you're working in this field. Every piece of research you do is essential. It's important, and it's important that you do it correctly and, you know, also have fun with it. Be a bit smart about it. Yeah. And yeah, that's in third year also you get introduced to ecology. I'm just mentioning this because it was my favorite thing in my final year. Ecology is, like I said earlier, it's about nature as a whole. And what you do in ecology is not just based on natural science or just science or the environment and biodiversity, climate change. No. You do a lot of humanities-based studies. You look at the economy, businesses, you look at law, policies, how they work together, you know, where they can be made better and things like that. So you are actually introduced to a whole bunch of other fields throughout your studies in zoology or in biology or in natural and agricultural sciences, because you have to learn about the rest of society to understand how it works in nature. You know, what we do as humans, how that affects nature, and that means we need to go from the philosophy to the economy to establish what to do next. Okay, so I think I just want to tell you guys about honors because, or for interest sake, just for interest sake, in case anyone was thinking of going into honors after biology. So in my honors, like I said, I was doing a study on a tree. It involves stable isotopes, and what I'm looking at is how the climate changed over the lifespan of a tree that was sent to me from the Kalahari Desert in that Postmasburg region. But yeah, aside from my thesis, being interesting on its own for me personally, honors was awesome in that you don't necessarily have structured classes anymore. Your classes are, I know for one of my modules you just had to read a few papers to prepare. But when we do have a class, it's more of a discussion. It's an open discussion. Like, guys, what do you think of this paper? Was it good? Was it bad? Was it what is it saying? So that's basically what it's like in most classes. Actually, majority of my classes this year have been that way, where I know you think of it as an assignment, but you make a presentation, you present what it is you have to present to the class, and then you just discuss that afterwards. I feel like that's something I really enjoy. I don't like structured classes where you sit at the back of the class and the lecturer is just there in front, spoon feeding you. Yeah.
Spoon feeding.
No, I don't like that.
Is that what you call it?
There's an attack helicopter coming, so sorry.
It looked so small in the camera.
Oh yeah, because you didn't zoom there.
Yeah, I didn't zoom, but even the brightness was too bright, so
Yeah.
I didn't want to adjust it, and now
It was right in the sun. Okay.
we didn't get that pretty helicopter. Mission failed.
Was a beast. I know that thing's not failing its mission. But yeah.
Which is more important than mine, but yeah. Okay, good.
Anyway, I think what's also important, what was awesome for me this year also, what really stood out was that I got to go to a conference at Kruger National Park for about 8 days with 2 of my lab members. So at the conference was about wildlife management in South Africa. It's called the SOMA Conference, South African Wildlife Management Association. So there we had people from, I think, 13 South African varsities and universities all over the world, from Australia to Canada. We had people here speaking about what kind of work they're doing. A lot of those foreign people also did work here in South Africa. And it's just interesting to see what's going on in my field, to learn from people who have a bit more experience. And also when I spoke to them afterwards, because there was a lot of time to socialize with these people and communicate ideas. When I spoke to them, a lot of their fears were the same as mine, even about things as basic as doing an assignment, studying and presenting, because that's all that this conference was about, you presenting your work. And that's very important I know, like, if it's your work, you're going to take it very seriously and be very nervous about it. But that's how everyone was feeling. And the people who didn't feel that way always had good advice as to how you can get over feeling that way, feeling anxious about your work even.
It's always good to have someone there to guide you through
Yeah.
it.
Someone with experience.
Yeah, it's always good.
So I got a lot of that. I feel like I'm very privileged and grateful for that.
Yeah.
I want to thank Dr. Quadran for that. You guys, if you are in the biology field or statistics, he's the guy to go to, But anyway, I might also be going to Zambia for another conference. This is on dendroclimatology, dendrochronology in Zambia, in one of those national parks there, nature reserves. Not sure which one it is, but yeah, I'm also keen to see, because there we'll be learning about more methods and more ways to be doing what I'm doing for my thesis correctly and more scientifically correct, I guess. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I guess that's it for my honors.
Okay, peeps, so that was it for today. Wow, I really learned a lot about zoology. Do you want to add something?
Nah, just
Nah?
take care of yourself and your environment. That means the space around you and the people in it.
Yes, I agree. Because we need that. We need those resources.
Yeah.
We can't live without them.
Can't live without each other or
Yeah.
yourself either. So
Yeah, I like that. But peeps, if you want any information on his social media or mine, you'll catch it at the end of this video. And if you've missed the entire introduction of this entire University of the Free State series, click over here and go check it out and leave a comment in the comment section. But until then, I hope you have a good one and I'll see you in the next one. Toots.